Let us set this problem itself, arbitrary or potential, arbitrary disorder, identify that. Assume that if this sophisticated computer cannot do that task, then no human being can do that task. That is the last but one set. That is, there was nothing here, nothing the brain could do, a well-designed computer could not. If this computer cannot solve some problem or it cannot do something, then no human being can do that. But after 50 years later, now still these statements are still reasonable. People will say fast computer is there, this thing will get there. If you tell me in case of this cancer treatment or TB treatment or arterial sensor this one disorders, then physiotherapy or whatever may be, how many places people are using are successful in standard techniques compared to doctors? Can they replace the doctors? Can they replace the medical experts? To some extent, they can, but they cannot replace it. But since people have to do the research, then they try to explore some of the things. That is soft computing approach, an innovative approach for constructing the computationally intelligent system. I told what is meant by intelligence. It is an emerging approach for computing which parallels the remarkable ability of human mind to reason and learn in an environment of uncertainty and indecision. Human beings, there is no problem. Now I am speaking. The people who are in the front row, they can listen. The people who are in the last row, I don't think they are missing anything. They are also listening, right? But assume that you for example, to do input, the earphone has to be in the ear. It should not be. Fan should be off. Earlier I told in some slide that it depends upon environmental conditions, all those things. Doctor can diagnose the patient with a different environment. The same way, not necessarily that they have to bring that to the same side. And any complex real world problems require intelligent system that combines knowledge, techniques, methodologies from various sources with the experience, with his past experience with the various patients. Doctor will update himself. Can computer update by itself? So you want to make a AI system, artificial intelligence system, artificial intelligence, so human beings ourselves. We will update, we will learn from sometimes from the mistake, from the experience, all those things. Can computer makes in any of these things? Intelligent systems are supposed to possess human-like expertise within the specific domain, adapt themselves and learn to do better in changing environment and explain how they make decisions or take actions. That is, can we build a system, biological diagnosis, a tool, so for example, this auditory disorder checking or any applications like this? There are so many applications. Can we build the tools and techniques which can totally replace the medical experts? It is not possible because experts are experts, but to some extent, people or researchers makes an effort to make the computer intelligent. Human beings are intelligent. We want to make computer also to be intelligent. Why human beings are intelligent? Because we have brain, right? We have brain. We have brain. We remember the things. We think the things many times. And we have storing capacity, unlimited storing capacity. And in the human beings, everything is controlled by the brain. Therefore, can we simulate artificial brain in the computer? That is the main task of computing approach. Making the machine to intelligent means what? You have to design some human brain. You have to design medical expert brain into the computer. Now, if you want to make an effort, then we have to simulate the human for the task. Then we have to understand what is the composition of the brain and how it behaves in different situations. How we learn the things how we recall the things, and how we take the decisions. Those are all need to be incorporated into the computer to make the computer behave like human beings. And then we need to understand biological neural network in order to simulate the human. We know that there are 10 to the power of 11 neurons are there. Neurons sometimes called nerve cells, and one nerve cell is connected to the 10 to the power of 4 remaining nerve cells or neighboring nerve cells. Therefore, there are 10 to the power of 15 interconnections, 10 to the power of 4 neurons, and each neuron is connected to 10 to the power of 4 neighboring neurons. We have 10 to the power of 15 interconnections there. Nobody counted, but roughly. Just to give an idea, it will appeal. This is coming from the like biology stuff. Roughly that much, and we wanted to have 10 to the power of 11 neurons. Similar, that is, we want to model 10 to the power of neurons, and we have to interconnect them, and somehow we should make to learn the things from the examples. Say how I remember, say all of you, for example, I have seen your face a number of times, and I stored in my mind, and somewhere if we meet some years later, definitely we will recall. Most of the time, for example, if we know somebody even 10 years back, 15 years back, we can recall them. And because we are human beings, we are intelligent, we have the memory, and now I told 10 to the power of 11, see this is one neuron, it will be like this. Here what happens is, like this neuron is connected to the other neurons, remaining 10 to the power of 4 neurons. Sometimes some information from other neurons come to this, and information from this neuron is fed to the other neurons, and that is information flows in two direction, bidirectional, and sometimes information from the same neuron it can get back to itself. Like that, there is so much complex system is there, and now we want to model this. Say here what happens is, one neuron to another neuron, information flows in the form of electrical pulses, electrical energy, and within this takes place, chemical process takes place. That is, ionization takes place, positive ion and this nucleus is there. Whenever there are distance less than from here, they will go inside. Like that, some chemical process takes place within the neuron, and electrical process takes place across the neuron. And whatever the information we remember in the human brain, information is stored as a strength of this. And now, if I want to simulate the human brain, then I need to have some kind of, I need to have a mathematical way of representing the neurons, models, and I need to interconnect them. See, biological neural networks, structure and function, as it is concerned, neurons are there, interconnections are there, and how we learn, how doctors learn. Don't think that you learn, I mean, so of course they might have learned from their teachers, but how we learn? See, assume that you read something, it is there in your memory. During examination, when some question comes, you have read, you have answer in your mind, you will recall, right? How will you recall? How many of you are there computer science? Computer science background? Which algorithm you will apply? Binary search? Which algorithm you apply? No, nothing like that, right? Yes sir, no. Those are all bogus searching, something, others to actually read in the book. Then, and features, say I told, this one, this signal, and we also discussed somewhere that other signals are so similar. At the signal level, there is a lot of variation. Then we have to extract some features which are invariant to the. For example, does not matter when somebody this one is collected here, no noise, and somebody collected there, noise should not be. That is, you have to extract the features which are essential, which are reflecting essence of the like what purpose you have recorded and what is the intention. What features you are looking at? So simply if you take the raw samples as it is, and if you say process, you will not get anything. You have to extract some features which are peculiar or which are particular to a task of a time. And feature level, then see comparison in the computers. Human brain. Human brain is fast or computer is fast? Human brain is fast. Now I am here. After some time, my mind is here. My mind will be now again thinking how to go back. Right? That is parallelly I am discussing and my mind will be thinking something else. That is, we are very good at parallel processing. Right? We are good at parallel processing. We can talk at the same time. We can listen to the lectures in the class, right? We can listen to the lectures. We can talk, and we can do many things parallelly. But there is nothing like parallel computer, right? There is nothing like. You may tell, no, I have heard some some parallel computer or Bombay. There is nothing like parallel. I think that there is some program. I know this is independent. This is independent. I just that you have set up some 10 CPUs. This task is given to this CPU, this task is given to this, and this is it. Finally, you get the result. That is, there is nothing like parallel computer. You are assigning some task which is independent, and you are getting some. There is no way like there is nothing like parallel computer. But human brain, you can do parallel many things. Right? Therefore, when you want to simulate human brain or you want to do something by using computer, it has the limitations. Okay. But once again, what happens is you cannot always try to find a fault below. This is not good, that is not there, this is not. With some extent, can we automate some of the tasks? Therefore, that's where comes artificial neural networks and artificial problem solving. That is pattern recognition by human being and pattern recognition by computer is totally different. There is a mismatch. So I told pattern recognition. The way you recognize a sound unit is different from way computer you build the speech recognition system. Or assume that you have a auditory disorder detection system. The way computer does is different from the way it does. That is, when you build the system, even with some knowledge, there is a architectural mismatch is there between human brain and the computer. You want to simulate computer. There is architectural mismatch because it is not possible to incorporate as it is whatever the human brain is. And everything we will be looking at the pattern, whereas computer looks at the data. That's why the definition of the computer is what is the data processing machine. Why can't you the microphone is there, speak through this. I think C language, for example, has include STI or H means something. Why can't you speak and due to the computer let it compile and execute? Why you will always input through the keyboard? Because computer don't know how to recognize your speech. But if you ask something, so big database is there in Google, what is something, some UBDT college, within no time it will find because it's a data process. And data process, computer is good at data process. Computer is good at data processing, human beings are good at pattern processing. For example, if you want to recognize somebody's face, how computer does? You have to take face of a person 100 times like this and different angles and keep them and find mean face and average face, all kind of recognized faces, all those things. Then you are comparing this face with the existing database. There is a mismatch. You cannot find, right? Because, say for example, you don't have any difficulty when I am speaking. Now also you don't have any difficulty, I am speaking, you are listening, even though my face is this side. Human brain, the way it works is different. And there is a difference between data processing done by the computer and pattern processing by the human beings. And architectural mismatch is there. See now, anyway, when we want to develop the, say, simulate the human brain, to do a particular task, one way of modeling the human brain is model individual neurons and interconnect. So one neuron, what it will be having is, I told, when you have the set of inputs, this is the neuron and some inputs are coming and some output is going from this, and there may be some positive and negative connections. Therefore, say this is the summing part and say set of inputs are there, net input, and it crosses some limit, then we call it a neuron phase. Then this is the output, and output is nonlinear, and that is it works in a nonlinear fashion, and this is modeling of a neuron. And assume that you have set of, say this one circle corresponds to entire this one neuron, and it will be having some set of inputs and strengths, weights associated with that, and net input, and this entire thing is 7 neuron. Again, assume that I have set of neurons here and set of neurons here, and if based upon topology, the way in which you organize the neurons, based upon that you are having different categories of neural networks. Let us say we have two layers, one layer here, another one layer here, and to this input is coming to this is output of all these previous layers, that is the instar, and here from this neuron outputs are taken and given as input to all these, this is called outstar, and here total connection is there, this is called group of instars, this is group of outstars, and here see here information is going in only one direction, and here in two direction, that is called bidirectional, and see here neurons are arranged in a single layer, and information is fed to all the units in that layer, and including that, this is called autosocial. Based upon the way in manner you organize the neurons, and based upon how you are restricting yourself to flow of information, you will be having different types of neurons. And I told, say, neurons are there. Alright, you model that. Now when you present some pattern, assume that this is a signal. Say, I have a AEP signal. Say I have 100 normal subject and 100 say endocochlear, another is, and say from this 100 it should recognize. So for example now, if assume that this is the thing, yes. Let us say this one you are representing by say, for example one signal. Take some 10-dimensional vector. Assume that this is 10, and here three classes: normal and endocochlear and retrocochlear. When the normal subject's signal that AEP is given, it belongs to this class. Whenever all these 100, make this as 1 and remaining as 0. Then when second category, when you are giving that input, then this will be high, belongs to second class of it. And when you do third categories, your inputs, and this is made 1 and other 0. That means to say it belongs to class 3. Now it has to remember what are the information it has read from the input signal. Information read from the input signal pattern is to be stored in this strand, and that is called learning. And what kind of learning are these? So what kind of learning law we used to use for learning our say ABCD in our UKG education? There is no learning law at all. Simply we learn it. But you cannot ask computer to simply learn whatever the way you learn. You have to tell some learning. There are some learning laws called Heppian, perceptron, delta, withdraw, correlation. There are some kind of learning laws are there, and you have the network and give input, and with the particular learning law, the weights are adjusted. Weights are adjusted in such a manner that every iteration it has to error should be less because it is learning the things from the example. And these are the learning laws. And initially, when you deal with the networks, whether the initial weights should be random weights, or they should be nearly 0, or there should be some other thing. There are some statistics are there related to that. And in this way, you will be training the network, and when it is trained, it learns the things from the examples. When it learns from the examples, then where that information is stored? Information is stored in the connection states. And when the information is stored from the known examples, because that you calculated, that you found, and that information is stored here, then when an unknown pattern is given, say unknown signal is given, for example, or either potential signal, when you give input to this, I think that it belongs to say retrocochlear. Then what you get the output, these weights are known and you are given input, and finally the calculation it is used in such a way that you will be having some value here, some value here, and some value here. And if it belongs to third category, then this value will be high compared to this values. Then you are declaring that that belongs to this. This is the way we learn. This is the way human beings should. Then we learn from the examples initially, and we will remember them. and afterwards when something comes, it will matches for it. For example, this is the pen effect, because we have seen this pen sometimes here, similar thing. Therefore, we will match to the known patterns which are there in our mind. And this is the way one kind of neural network does. That is, and information. Say here, this is called feed-forward neural network model, and information flows in the forward direction, and sometimes it is called back propagation. During training, these things error is propagated back to minimize the error. That is the reason. That we will call it as a back propagation.
Up to 537.
No, what is the time? Yes. See now, what is the problem? Problem with this is that it's learning not to use. There are so, see for example, if somebody asks somebody in the Viva or something, they will come and which starting technique is good? Which starting technique is good?
Based on input.
Based upon the input. Some are that big O analysis, theta analysis, they are bogus. Based upon the input, right? Therefore, like intelligent way, say people upon the how many examples are there, and we cannot say this is good or that is good. Sometimes some techniques take more memory, but you can recall it faster. Or sometimes something is slow, it takes less memory. Everything is trial and error. But many people use something called perceptron because it has the advantage. And see, once again, it depends upon what kind of task we have to say. Whether we are using pattern recognition task, or pattern association task, or pattern classification task, or pattern mapping task, we have different kinds of networks. Say if only two-layer network is there, then it does a one kind of task. If there are three-layer networks are there, then another kind of task. And if like a two-layer network with linear output and non-linear output, we have different kinds of networks and different kinds of tasks are there. See now, this is the way artificial neural network works, and the problem now is number of units in the input layer. Let us say I have a signal of 10 dimensional, then you will be having 10 units in the input layer. Let us say you have three classes, output layer will be having 3 inputs. Input and output is fixed, and in between how many layers should be there and what should be the number of units in each layer. This you have to come up by trial and error. Then nobody will tell that you will have only this kind of units in each layer and you will have this number of layers. And how many times you have to present known data to the network, say 100 times, 10 iterations. If you present all the data once, it is called one iteration. And how many iterations the network has to do. These are all, it has to come with trial and error, and these are all the, and one more thing is only 3 classes fine. If number of classes are say more in number, let us say I want to recognize sound units, say 48 units are there for example. If I want to design a classifier of 48 classes, then single classifier which discriminate all 48 classes, it becomes bulky, sometimes it may not do well. In that places you have to go with some approach, modular approach or something. And this is the way usually people used to use the soft computing approach since 1960s to up to 2009. And it has some difficulties, it may not do well, the number of classes are more in number, and there are some heuristics, like I said, with learning law and number of iterations on those things. That is the this one. This you can say limitations of the artificial neural networks. There are nowadays there is one approach called support vector machine. This overcomes the what are the heuristics which you need to address in case of neural networks. That is theory of support vector machines avoid the need of heuristics, often used in the design of the material field for neural networks. And possible to achieve better performance with no problem domain knowledge. That is number of iteration, number of units in each layer, and number of classes also should not be a problem. And they are capable of discriminating the confusable classes. The way in which manner this work is like assume that I have only 2 classes. These are the example of one class and these are the example of another class. Then a line is obtained. This is called the optimal line between these two classes. And this, in order to construct this line, what I need is I need only examples which are in the region of separation. I don't want these examples. I told in case of Eden-Markov model statistical based approach that more the number of examples, better will be the result. But here, how many examples is there? These examples are in the region of separation and those are only required to discriminate the classes. And in case of high dimensional, this is called optimal hyperplane, and this is a two-class problem. And any day when I use the line of the separation between two classes, the distance surface between the two classes, then it is easy to construct the line than the curved surface. And now what happens if I have 3 classes, or what happens if I have 10 classes? What happens is in this case, whatever may be the number of classes, I say class 1 examples and remaining classes, class 2 examples, remaining classes, class 3 examples, remaining classes, like that. That is, this is the one ideal rest approach. Whatever may be the number of classes should not be a problem in this approach. And you may tell about you can construct a line between this. Fine. If the examples are not separable, then what needs to be done? See, what is done is actually, assume that I have the examples in the given example, they are in the input space. We transform them to the high dimensional space, and by nonlinear transformation, irrespective of whether they are separable in the input space or not, definitely they will be separable in the high dimensional space. That is the way this support vector machine works. But the issues in support vector machines is that they are computationally intensive, that is, takes lot of time because it works in high dimensional. Therefore, people, whatever the approach they follow, that is the dimension of the input vector. For reducing the dimension of the input vector, there are approaches called linear and nonlinear dimension reductions. And the linear reduction is by principal component analysis, and nonlinear there is a dimension reduction is by something called kernel principal component analysis and artificial neural networks, auto-associative neural network for reducing the dimension of the vector. Therefore, if you want to design the intelligently into the systems in order to simulate the human brain or artificial neural networks, then people follow the neural network based approach, and again in neural network based approach, a kind of approach called support vector machines. And I have done. So now basically what I discussed is that if you want to automate the system, that is basically some computing approach for the auditory disorder, for detecting any defect in this area, or there is no problem with respect to the subject. How we can develop a computerized algorithm? You can develop the computerized algorithm to automate. They can replace the medical expert to some extent by developing the tool, by following the soft computing approach. Neural network is not the only soft computing approach. There are something called physiology is there, then evolutionary algorithm is there. There are so many different approaches. Statistical approaches may not do well because that is not the way human being does the task. Therefore, to follow neural network based approach, the way in which mathematics human does the things, then doing errors will be less. That is the thing with respect to automating the systems for medical diagnosis.
Increase the dimension. Features. How you train to STM?
Increase the dimension.
Decrease the dimension. Feature reduction graph.
No.
Same time it will be.
No, what happens is whenever we are having the dimension, to perform like say PCR, say principal component analysis and say some other say kernel principal component analysis, it is proved that whatever the information is there in the given vector, still it will be preserved up to also you can reduce the dimension up to half. Say if you reduce to say for example 50 dimension to 2 dimension, you are losing information. But there is some optimal value which preserves the dimension, whatever the information is there in the pattern vectors, up to 25 dimension is possible to achieve the now say nowadays what happens is nowadays people are combining something serializing techniques in neural network, it's the neural technique.
We are using threshold, hard threshold.
No. Here we are using
neurons. So this kind of like fuzzy thresholding for.
I understood what you said is. We are not using hard limit here. That I have shown, but this one is a sigmoid function, hyperbolic and function. There are no nonlinear functions are there. That we are using.
Yeah. So is there any like fuzzy kind of threshold output function? Activation function value. So is there like
Tangent hyperbolic function will be like this.
Yeah. That is not my question, sir. I know that there are so many like linear and non-linear functions
Yes.
used, but I am just talking about fuzzy. Yeah.
This is Fourier's function.
We say like it is a non-linear function. That is what it is.
I say this is also non-linear,
Yeah.
but it is not non-linear.
Yeah.
And this is also non-linear, but it is only one-sided. And this is always two-sided non-linear will be better. This is hyperbolic, this is tangent function. Again, say we have the instituting neural network, non-linear with non-linear transmission. Okay?
We call that back propagation algorithm. We always keep saying that error is back propagated. That as we understand as a instrumentation people, so always when a closed loop control system happens, output will be connected, fed back to the input where error correction takes place. And error is keep on minimized when it is compared with in, by which we will get an required output. But we will not understand what is the mechanism happens here, that error is back propagated.
Okay. See, what happens is, here, say, take for example this. Now, information flows in the only one direction, forward direction. See now, when you give the input here, for this input, say it belongs to normal class. I know this. Whenever I give input, belongs to class 2. This is, so that is output is known for the given input. I do not know the outputs in the hidden layers. Therefore, what happens is, say, you know the desired pattern, you know the input, and you know the desired output, and you know the actual output. I know the desired output, I know the actual output. That is the error. And if the error is more, then what happens is that still that error is propagated back. See, in order to adjust the weights in the hidden layers, we need that information. That's why we propagate the error back. And say in case of if you pass the information in the feedback form, then it becomes a feedback neural network. And if you incorporate, say incorporation of both feed forward and feedback neural network, is difficult to deal with that. Therefore, learning technique, in that error is propagated back to adjust the weights, because we don't know the output at the hidden layers. We know output at the output layer, and we know output at the, that we know the output at the input layer and output layer. We don't know the output need at the hidden layer. So that's why in during 1960s people used to deal with only 2 layers and they stuck up what to do. Say 2 layer does only simple task. When you go for the multi-layer, then they were not knowing what to do. Then somebody, some apply internal, somebody invented that. Initially they used to do it for small tasks, and this became very standard.
The model is the summation is the summation operation is carried out.
Yes. See,
The inputs and the rate.
it is the following. Now, what I have here, say, assume that this is a one neuron is there. So that what is happening? I am getting one input from here, and I am getting another input from this. I told each neuron is connected to 10 to the power of 4 neighboring neurons, and these are the strengths. And say when this fact is output of this comes, output of that, and this strength is multiplied, given an input. In the same way, I have output from the other neurons and weights are multiplied. That totally net input to a neuron is this summation.
Sir, this neural network is a classic example of multiple input, multiple output system. So in any MIMO system, stability is a big problem. If a single input, single output system is there, stability is found to be inherently stable. But when you talk of a neural network, so how do you account for that?
See, what happens is, in case of that stability, all those things, when you go for the based upon control system, those things, there are hard problems. In the sense, here there are learning algorithms, all those things are there. So in case of neural networks, so you have different learning laws are there, all those things. With the help of what is the stability, basically.
Where for the given input, output always remains fixed, stable. It will not fluctuate. But neural network.
Therefore, here what happens is, initially output fluctuates, and ultimately, see, when you are representing the input right number of times, and for every steps, weight is going to change, and ultimately, like when almost say information is captured by this network, whatever the information is there in the input data, then this output more or less stabilizes. Till the output stabilizes, equations are going to take place. That's why when we stop this training is stopped when we reach almost zero error. Error is minimum. Because, for example, like the patient belongs to second category, that is called endocochlear, right? Then say if this is what I ended learning, how I am deciding, this is more than other two values. It does not matter. Assume that this is 0.2, then this is 0.1 and this is a 0.15. Then still it is more. Or assume that this is 0.8, this is 0.7. Assume that this is 0.81. That's why it's the soft computing. And whichever is output is giving, if node is giving more value, it belongs to that category. Relative. Therefore, the stability problem may not be. It's a classification problem. More?
Thank you, Professor, for delivering informative from computing equations. Now, I request you to accept a small moment of respect. Yes. Now the session closes tomorrow. We all assemble at 9:30 exactly. Breakfast is arranged 9 o'clock in the second. Thank you.
9 o'clock breakfast starts, 9:30 we have